This Star Trek main character looks way less likely to become a Starfleet captain. Now, watching Star Trek characters progress through the ranks at Starfleet until they reach the rank of captain is one of the most rewarding parts of the Skyfi franchise. But one prospective captain just provided a strong argument for why they should never be given command of their own ship. All the main Star Trek captains display immense levels of leadership, even if they have different ways of winning the allegiance of their crew and maintaining an air of authority. Although there have been various captains throughout the Star Trek timeline, certain personality traits can ruin an officer's chances of achieving their goals. In other ways, there's no correct way to captain a starship, but there are certainly wrong ways. Although Starfleet isn't a military organization, the universe being such a dangerous place requires Starfleet to abide by a military-esque hierarchy and level of discipline. One member of the Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5 cast has long been teased to eventually ascend to the rank of captain, but the animated comedy just weakened their case. Tawny Newsom's LT Beckett Mariner is left stranded during an away mission with Noel Wells' LT Divana Tendi and Gabrielle Ruiz's LT Lynn. While the latter two women spend their time in isolation trying to further their careers and strengthen their respective cases for promotion for when they return to the USS Cerritos, Mariner seems to find pretty much anything else to do as she waits to be rescued. In fact, Mariner almost appears to actively avoiding doing anything that could benefit her career. Mariner's more recent stories have been about her finally accepting she can't remain an ensign forever, and that she eventually needs to mature and conduct herself like an officer with ambition. Away from the ship and fully dilated, that desire seems to have fallen completely by the wayside, perhaps proving that being separated from her larger peer group is what causes this dip in progress. In short, Mariner fails to find a way to push herself further down the Starfleet command track, while her fellow exiled officers spend their time far more productively. With only one spot initially open for a bridge promotion on the USS Cerritos, Flynn and Tendi are each very aware of how hard they'll have to work to prove to their captain that they deserve the position more than the other. While this level of competition is admirable and could even be considered healthy in certain scenarios, the fact they're also cut off from their ship means tensions are running higher than they often would be. As a result, the dynamic between Tendi and T'Lyn turns overly competitive and perhaps even damaging. Unfortunately, Beckett was too distracted to notice. Although Mariner is the same rank as the others, and therefore doesn't really have any kind of meaningful seniority, her red Starfleet uniform suggests her career choices should really prioritize command decisions, just as Tendi and T'Lyn's imply the championed scientific advancement during their time as officers. A big part of captaincy is conflict resolution, and Beckett neither noticed nor tried to rectify the tension between her peers. If she had been able to do so, it would have been a huge signifier of her progress. Unfortunately, it was a big mischance. In the ever-expanding universe of Star Trek, the journey to the captain's chair is often one filled with trial, growth, and challenges. Some characters seem destined from the moment they step onto the bridge, while others surprise us with their evolution over time. However, recent developments in the franchise have cast doubt on the future of one such character, whose trajectory now appears much less likely to end with them assuming the role of a Starfleet captain. Michael Burnham, from misfit to captain and back again? When Star Trek Discovery debuted in 2017, Michael Burnham, played by Sonequa Martin Green, was immediately positioned as a unique kind of protagonist for the franchise. She wasn't a captain, unlike many of her predecessors, but a disgraced first officer who had committed mutiny. Her journey was one of redemption, attempting to regain her honor and find her place within Starfleet. Over the course of the show, she demonstrated her leadership qualities, proving herself time and again through her bravery, intelligence, and compassion. By the end of Season 3, Burnham had finally earned her place in the captain's chair, taking command of the USS Discovery. It seemed her arc had come full circle. However, the more recent direction of the show has raised questions about whether Burnham will remain as a Starfleet captain for long, or if her future lies elsewhere entirely. One of the key reasons for this shift is the show's ongoing exploration of Burnham's relationship with Starfleet's rules and regulations. From the beginning, Burnham has been a character who often finds herself at odds with authority. Her mutiny in the pilot episode was motivated by her belief that the only way to avoid war with the Klingons was to act against her captain's orders. This tendency to prioritize her own moral compass over Starfleet protocols has been a recurring theme throughout the series. While this trait makes Burnham an interesting and dynamic character, it also raises doubts about her long-term suitability for the role of captain. Starfleet, for all its progressive ideals, is still a military organization with strict rules and a clear chain of command. Captains are expected to uphold these rules, even when doing so conflicts with their personal beliefs. Burnham's history of defiance, combined with her willingness to make controversial decisions, could ultimately undermine her position as a Starfleet leader. The strain of the future, Burnham's time jump. Another factor contributing to Burnham's uncertain future is the dramatic time jump that occurred at the end of Discovery's second season. Burnham and the crew of the USS Discovery traveled over 900 years into the future, arriving in a time when the Federation was a shadow of its former self. The galaxy was fractured, and Starfleet's influence had waned. Burnham, always driven by a deep sense of duty to the Federation's ideals, found herself in a situation where those ideals had been all but forgotten. In this new future, Burnham initially worked outside of Starfleet, operating as a courier and navigating the lawless sectors of space. This period of independence allowed her to embrace her more rebellious side, and by the time she reunited with her crew and resumed her Starfleet duties, she had changed significantly. Burnham's time outside of Starfleet gave her a new perspective on leadership and authority, one that often clashed with the more traditional views held by her peers. As Burnham took on the role of captain, it became clear that her leadership style was unconventional, to say the least. She was willing to take risks that other captains might shy away from, and she frequently bent the rules to achieve her goals. While this made her an effective leader in some situations, it also raised concerns about her ability to maintain the discipline and structure required of a Starfleet captain. The captaincy dilemma. Hero or outcast? The Star Trek universe has always been about pushing boundaries, but it has also been about understanding the delicate balance between following orders and following one's conscience. Burnham's journey is at the core of this tension. If she continues to defy orders and take matters into her own hands, Starfleet might view her more as a loose cannon than a capable captain. With rumors swirling that future seasons of Discovery might see Burnham faced with even more ethical dilemmas, the question remains whether she can truly reconcile her instinct to break the rules with the demands of Starfleet leadership. Given all this, it seems less likely that Burnham will remain as Starfleet captain for the long haul. Her unorthodox methods, her willingness to prioritize her own sense of justice over the established order, and her evolving relationship with authority all suggest that her future could lie outside of the traditional Starfleet hierarchy. Burnham's character has always thrived on the edge, and it's possible that she might find greater freedom and purpose working as a rogue operative or in a position where she isn't bound by the constraints of Starfleet protocol. In the end, whether Burnham remains a Starfleet captain or not, her journey will undoubtedly continue to challenge the status quo and push the boundaries of what it means to be a leader in the Star Trek universe.